being a superstar, most of the superstars I've talked to, they compare themselves to themselves. They compare their effort today to their previous efforts. And so they're looking for norms around their own data, not norms in relation to others.
That's right.
Because we're kind of unique fingerprints, you know?
Yeah.
I know that sounds kind of...
Kind of what?
Kind of foofy, but...
foofy.
You know, we're kind of unique fingerprints. Like, we bring together a lot of weird stuff to create that which is us.
Yeah.
And so you can't plot that on a normative XY graph. You can't plot the complexity of what makes it a human,
right?
You know, on a 2-dimensional or even a 3-dimensional graph and establish normativity.
Yeah.
You know, who knows what's gonna... In evolution, there are these niches, and organisms occupy these niches.
Meaning they have their own specialized identity and function in the larger ecosystem.
They're able to adapt to some unique little place in the world, you know, and that nobody else can adapt to, you know, and then they find their little home, right?
And we should do that too.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, the other thing I keep thinking about is it's so ingrained in everything we do, this idea of the norm and being above or below it. I mean, you think about what happens to a person or a person along their trajectory if they're constantly told they're above the norm, above the norm, above the norm, above the norm.
Or below the norm.
Well, I'm saying
if you're in the tails.
Both ends. Yeah. Like, you know, that will completely shape that person's self-perception. You can end up with hubris. You can end up with no confidence.
I've noticed this in bars.
Like drinking bars? Like bars?
Like whenever you play pool in a bar, you always play just a little bit better than the people you're playing against.
I have not had that experience.
Which bugs me because I always think like, so if the person was better, I would play better. So why don't I play as good as I can play?
When you're alone?
Yeah. No, like I'm saying, like if the people are terrible, at the when they're putting quarters in the pool table, I'm not a pool shark or anything, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
And like I'm talking bar pool, not like billiards, like just playing pool in the bar.
Okay.
Right. If the people are terrible, then you'll play just enough to beat them.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Yeah. Meaning, you're setting your skill level based on theirs. Instead of just being as good as you are.
Instead of just being as good as you can be.
Interesting.
It's really an interesting phenomena.
I think that translates across everything.
Yeah.
Right? So say, for example, we have high-achieving kids in some ways with grades and things.
For sure.
Well, okay, so if I have to put in 70% of the effort and I still get an A.
Totally. I hear kids talking about that all the time.
I'm not going to put in 100% because why do I need to?
A ton of kids were saying that.
Saying that?
They say, I get straight A's. I don't even work hard.
Right. So
and you're like, imagine what they could do if they weren't comparing to the norm.
Right.
Right? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I know you are. I'm agreeing with that.
It's a problem.
It is.
Because we're not reaching our full potential and we're not challenging ourselves just to challenge ourselves
100%.
Just for our own sake.
Like imagine if everybody just sort of said, what am I capable of? Mm-hmm. Rather than, can I get an A?
Yeah.
Because getting an A, and not that I got all straight F's, so in high school, so getting an A was like impossible.
Yeah, you mean in the scope of life, it really is fairly meaningless in some ways. It's also meaningful in terms of your opportunities.
It can be meaningful in terms of the doors that it opens, which is a sad part of that kind of thing. Because if you're not understanding that it's going to open those doors, I sometimes talk about people talk about opening doors, and you think. So it's like there's this door. Mm-hmm. And does the door open or will the door open? But I think life's way more tricky than that. I think it's a hallway and it just is walls. And there are secret doors
Oh,
that don't look like doors,
okay.
right? And they only open for certain people
Really?
based on how hard you work and how and how much effort you put in, and also probably who you know and all those kinds of things. But this notion that will the doors open, it pre-assumes that you know that there's a door there.
Right.
And what I see happening all the time is, especially young people, they'll look around for the door, the opportunity. And then if there's an opportunity, they might perform. But what they don't understand is there's opportunities everywhere, and they don't always know that they're in that moment standing in an opportunity.
Right.
Right? So it's more like a secret door that looks like a wall.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden the wall opens.
Because of your hard work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your hard work is how you get to see it.
Yeah, usually hard work, yeah.
I think
Or passion or curiosity or just integrity or, any of these sort of like things that as an older person, as an older adult now, today I go in the world and I'm like, I really notice it when somebody has integrity.
Yes.
I notice it. Yeah, somebody that goes an extra measure when they don't have to. I notice it because so few people do. So I notice it. I go, wow, that person is like, they're doing a good job just because they enjoy being good at something.
Yeah.
Right? They're not looking for the door and then playing to the opportunity.
Right.
And in a weird sort of way, I think that's where opportunities come from. They come when you don't know that they're there.
That's true. You miss them a lot.
You miss
opportunities a lot.
So you should always just kind of like
think of everything.
Be your best self.
Yep.
As much as possible. Have integrity,